Welcome back to the most professional Starcraft, to a best of 5 battle that I've been waiting to bring you. Let me first introduce the most Terran in the entire world. You know him, you love him. It's Micro Jackson. In the red, it's ByuN. Up against a player I have a bit of a personal stake in, one of the few players from the United States of America to make it to this level. He's shown he can compete with the rest, but can he compete with the best? It's the Battle Mage. It's Astrea. This will be a test. The old guard versus the new. And, well, in StarCraft 2, we kind of judge the new based on whoever wasn't a pro player in Legacy of the Void. But, not to show my age, Astrea definitely earning his place in the last year or so. After competing in GSL against players like ByuN to limited success, he's finally, I think, come into his own with a kind of a shield Protoss style, but mixing in the aggression I think is needed in order to compete at the top level. As Protoss, you very simply have to bring a lot of cards to the table. The more chances your opponent gets to kind of see your style, see your builds, the more you have to adapt. Whereas Terran players can and will do the same builds they did 12 years ago. ByuN, Marines, medivacs, and Marauders have been the most dangerous trio for probably a decade now. Well, we're on day to see. It is possibly one of the last tournaments we're going to have here, Homestory Cup, on this map pool. I don't even think we're going to have an underwater map in the next map pool, which is just a tragedy. So enjoy it while it lasts, just like your probes, Astrea. Yeah, I'm going to get in with the Horsicar there. Okay, that's going to need some explanation. In Age of Empires 2, you start with a scout. Okay, it's a horse. That scout has a tendency to go directly into your opponent's town center. Follow along, and die. I've nicknamed the scout Horsicus, because it sounds very dramatic, especially for something that dies at the 5-minute mark because I wasn't paying attention. But a Hellion is not a horse. It's a mechanized. It's a car. So that's the. Moving on. Thank you, ByuN. Medivac drop with Marines. Does he even have? He has 7 Marine. He just takes whatever he has, and he just says, there's not even anything here. He's trying to attack before Blank finishes, before Warp Gate really kicks in. But this could backfire. As, well, there is a lot of water space hack here. Looks like he's be underwater right now. Let's just blaze right past that into liking and subscribing. Jimmy says I gotta point that out, like, not in the first minute. You gotta hook people in, and then once you bait that hook, masterfully ideally, you get them interested. Because there's gonna be another 20 seconds or so before these Blink Stalkers come across, and then you're not gonna have any time. This series could be action throughout the 20 minutes to 2 hours it'll take to play a best of 5 between these two. I truly, especially with ByuN, have no idea which one it's going to be closer to. But here we go. There's a War Prism already into the... Oh, God. Well, a tank sieging up. Astrea going to go right for it. Got to be careful. He's ghetto blinking back with the Prism. What else is happening on the other side? A couple Stalkers go down. ByuN not actually bringing in the Raven quite yet. There we go. Auto turret. Not finding much, not targeting the probes here. And the Raven itself could go down, though maybe loses a Stalker. Medivac drop coming in. The Raven. Oh, come on. Meanwhile, the Medivac as well, but the Stalkers are not actually particularly great against Marines, even in such small numbers. The Blink gonna keep a lot of them alive. Beautiful Blink micro from Astrea. The Marines just right-clicked on that Stalker, trying to chase it down. He's not gonna get it right. So, the first jabs are thrown. And where does it leave us? I'd say, let's take stock. You gotta take stock of several things. I'm gonna try to mix in some, just kind of, I don't want to say beginner level, but just kind of starter level commentary. Because when damage is done, it's not necessarily about how many workers are killed, or how many units, or how many resources are even lost, but how much, whether map control was gained or lost. Map control being the ability to deny your opponent moving out on the map without something dramatic like medivacs. How easily you can expand, and your production capacity going forward. So in this case, ByuN got a third command center, but he built it in his base. He didn't lose that many workers, and he also has mules, which do pay off quite quickly. But at the same time, ByuN microing back against the Blink Stalkers there. Oh, he spots the Observer. He figures that one out pretty quick. Yeah, ByuN has 3 wrecks. Whoa, the Warp Prism! Astrea! Ooh. Oh, can't be making those mistakes here. No charge on those Zealots. But without the Prism, ByuN is no longer tied at home. Gonna get 1 medevac in return. Not quite the impact of the Prism. But just to finish my thought, Astrea managed to get his 3rd base up comfortably. He managed to get more gateways. He's at 6. Usually he went 8 or even 10, but also adding on Colossi, getting charge. A bit of a vulnerable main base, and I'm sure ByuN will be thinking about that. But at least the robotics facility and bay are at the natural. So the Colossi are coming online. Thermal Lance is in the mail right now, but it's still a while off being delivered, despite the Chrono Boost. Charge is about to complete a very key upgrade as time goes on, though probably not a huge impact quite yet. Raven's still alive at the back. Overall, Astrea in a tenuous but comfortable position here going into the mid-game. Ooh, auto turrets come in. They're going to kill a few probes. Astrea's kind of cut the probe production in order to have the unit count to overrun the siege tanks here. The Blink Stalkers over the top knock down a few medevacs, but ByuN's reinforcements sprint into the fray. The stim pack helping out. But the charge lot's buffering enough damage that ByuN has now been pushed back to his 3rd. 5 probes went down on the other side, so this is kind of turning around. If ByuN's able to hold on to his 3rd base, he's going to have the economic lead. Of course, that's a big if. 2 Colossi. Extended Thermal Lance still a few seconds out. Those Colossi can't quite reach out nearly invulnerably. A big spread. I can't believe it's not butter here from ByuN. Thermal Lance is completed. 20 SCVs immolated. And the Marauders. It's pretty much just Marauders that survived. The ambitious stim. Almost as many medevacs as Marauders down here, but the Colossi barely heating them up right now. The Stalkers do a little more damage, but ByuN is forced back. Astrea blinks and tries to snap up the medevacs. Doesn't quite close his jaws around him, but 1-1 done for ByuN. It looks great for Astrea here, but he has some of the most fragile units. Oh, you're making use. For once, the Reaper Cliff gets turned around, but Astrea turns the tables. He's the one in the main. The Colossi climb up the cliff. The Stalkers blink up. The Prism warps in. And the Protoss are here, but are they here to stay? The Marauder count is so damn high. Tech issue resolved, and we didn't even have to kill all the tech buildings. We don't pause for anyone, though. What a timing for that. Oh my. That's well, we're blazing right past it. Medevac's nearly out of energy. It's right now. It's 16 Marauders and next to no Marines. 3 Colossi. Oh, the War Prism is knocked down by the Vikings. The Colossi is well vulnerable. And these fragile Stalkers, he's going to recall a single Colossus and ByuN just barely not able to knock it down. Astrea bit off more than he could chew. Backed up against a corner, ByuN is a dangerous animal. And how many times have we seen Protoss break themselves against Terran defenses? It looked like Astrea. He wanted the win. Right there. He thought he might have it. But ByuN managed his Marauders and his medivacs and his Vikings well enough. He's now got a few Ghosts. He's got some Vikings. And, of course, all those Marauders. It's still a tough... snipe on the Zealot. It's still a tough economic position for ByuN, because Astrea has 4 bases. He's at 8 gates, which is actually a little low. But for now, the army supplies are even, and look at the upgrades. +1 attack isn't even done for Astrea yet. The army supply is larger and stronger for ByuN. He has the army to fight. He just needs to... He can't afford to lose another one. At least not in the near future. But right now, he has what he needs to pick a fight. The Vikings can work... Oh my god, spots... Well, probably just a fortuitous scan there. Spots the single Colossus. His friend here. 1 EMP. No shield battery overcharge yet. Guardian shield. Going to reduce damage from the entire Terran army. +1. And a whole lot of charge launch warped in underneath. Disruptor shot from the north side. Goes far wide and reveals the disruptor. So he was looking for the big shot there and finds nothing but air. Vikings finding a nice position where the Stalkers can't quite hit them, but they stray into Stalker fire. But EMP washes over the Protoss army, and hence shockwaves are already completed for just 2 or 3 ghosts, which means they have a radius of approximately half the screen. Okay, it's not quite that, but it effectively negates the shields of most of the Protoss army with a good shot. More ghosts on the way. Disruptors. Not very intimidating for ByuN, to be honest. We've seen him do some dastardly things against disruptors. And in fact, if you're not careful, those disruptors can turn against you. The only thing they don't hit are friendly disruptors. The Nexus. 1 shot away. None shots away. Down it goes. Huge charge lock counterattack, though, eviscerating reinforcements from ByuN. As he scrambles back, he can't afford to lose another base. Astrea, it hurts, but it's not critical damage. If ByuN loses his 3rd, he has essentially no real economy, as he's starting to mine out of his main and his natural. So dealing with all this, the charge lab's going to close in, slice off a few more Marines, but... Whoa, and the snipes don't quite connect. Medivac strays into Stalkers. Oh, another EMP. Disruptor. Forces ByuN away. He leans back in the moment the Disruptor is wearing out. That timing. Ooh. ByuN in LAN tournaments is even more terrifying. When he knows the ping is low enough that he can actually time the Disruptors like that. I think the reason we don't see that more in some of the online tournaments is just less reliable ping. But, God, the micro. On the other side of it, though, Astrea's macro has kicked in. He's a little light on the gateway count. He has 1 robo. He has 8 gates. He has 5 Nexi. Ooh, Disruptor shot. Finds a connection. EMP, though. Gonna force the Protoss army back. A few charge lots into the natural. ByuN has been under 50 SCVs, or hovering around there for quite a while. More SCVs being slaughtered as ByuN's economy continues to be whittled down. And Astrea is forcing that climactic battle. One where he can continually reinforce and ByuN can't put any more pieces on the table. ByuN's now supply blocked after the Zealots take out supply depots. But he's stimming in. The army supplies are still very close to even. 100 to 120. 1-1 to just +1 attack. A whole bunch of Disruptors. Shot fired. Vikings, though, looking for the Colossi. Another Disruptor shot. Not finding much. Another Disruptor on the backline. The other 2, the Zealots have to dodge. ByuN picks up. And in a huge move, he goes to the main. The Hail Mary here. Recall from Astrea to intercept a few Disruptors, but they're on cooldown. And it's a prison of his own design. The main base funnels the Protoss units into the lines of fire from ByuN. The Disruptor's about to cool down, but he targets one. The other one doesn't have its shot yet. It's open for business. He takes the shot over the top. ByuN picks up, and he gets out of there. He's somehow ahead on supply. Oh, my. ByuN has had mule-based economy throughout all of this. He's barely holding on but he's scrapping together just enough. The army supply is just better. He's just putting a better army together, and he's using it so well. Astrea is struggling to keep up. Disruptor shots. One disruptor shot could end this game. The Liberators zone out for a little while longer. Another disruptor. The Liberator will eventually deal with the charge lots, but their lives for iron, their lives to kill. Hard-working blue mineral SCVs. The main base, though, vulnerable. And most of Astrea's gateway production with it. He's chrono boosting the forges, like that's something that's going to be relevant. I feel like this game... Oh, and he picks up and he gets out of there! This is what happens when you build so much in the main. How many times have we seen ByuN drop it like a particularly dramatic Skrillex album? The bass right there, but... 23 SCVs left. Astrea still. He has the army. He just needs to land a hit. The force fields actually kind of pushed ByuN out of the disruptor shed. More ghost time. ByuN down to 23 SCVs. Reinforcements on the way. Few charge lots coming across. Medivacs out of energy, and some of them running out of HP now. Another disruptor shot. EMP. Disruptors, nothing. Another shot. Nothing. Air balls all over the place right now. Stalkers are not going to be able to compete, even with +2/+1. I lied. The forges look like they're actually going to finish their upgrades. And once those gateway unit upgrades kick in, ByuN's bio army is going to be significantly less effective, and that might be the beginning of the end. Then again, this entire game has been the beginning of the end for ByuN, and that hasn't stopped him yet. The Disruptor's wandering. Astrea, for all the bruises he's taken here, has just mass expanded. He's taken another Nexus for every single one ByuN has killed. His probe count is not great, but it's not terrible. 53 to 23. He can't really afford to give away units. Clearly he's not maxed out. But the upgrades are coming together. ByuN, his army supply is still larger. He hasn't built an SCV in like 5 minutes. He's at barely double what he started with. What a game. Well, a few Marauders getting caught. The upgrades are kicking in. He's going for the most hectic base trade. There is a recall. Feels like a massive desperation move, but ByuN, in his trademark style, picks up and heads to the main. Recall immediately. ByuN must try to win a fight here, but the disruptor shots will boom, 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 boom. There it goes. And that, in dramatic fashion, I think will conclude our first match. ByuN holds on, but loses his grip to Astrea's tenacious defense. I know, I can't help it. ByuN makes every game kind of about him. And that was absolutely no exception. But Astrea, in the face of that constant pressure, like whitewater rafting with me, you just gotta ride the lightning there. Or waves. Waves would have been fine because it was a water map. But Game 2. Speaking of waterfall, in our aquatic-related activities, right now, ByUnderwater in score, 1-0 for the American Protoss. Those Twilight Council upgrades kicking in, and the general upgrades as well. A solid defense. Just a beauty to watch ByuN and his attempts to escape from Astrea's clutches. Honestly, their Protoss units just don't have that sort of micro potential most of the time. Maybe Stargate, but Stargate is easily countered by Widowmines, Ghosts, all that, which is why you don't see it as a long-term strat a lot of the time in Protoss versus Terran. ByuN is putting a Macrobrax out there. Yeah, I guess we have to start talking about Game 2 already. That's another beauty of ByuN series, is they don't, like, we don't really have that 4 or 5 minute build-up time where we have to find as much filler content as possible to pretend like something exciting is happening with a build order you've seen 50 times before. Here, it's a build order you've seen 50 times before that starts off at the 2-minute mark, as the Mecha Rex, popularized by Mecha Prime, who was on the same team as ByuN. Prime Gaming. No, not that one. Not that one you should be subscribing on Twitch. No. But Team Prime in Wings of Liberty. So that is maybe the one legacy of Mecha, is he was the first person to, in his genius, because Terrans were proxy rexing. I know, sounds crazy, all the time. So he just built a barracks right outside his base, and everyone freaked out. They just assumed they were getting proxy rexed, and they would super overreact, building like spine crawlers or cannons or whatever, and then you just build like one unit and then float it into the main and barely lose any production time and cause your opponent to panic. Obviously, nowadays, that strat is kind of figured out. Astrea uses a probe, handles himself fine so far. Not too worried about the damage out of that Reaper. Oh. I might get 2. You're just gonna lose it? Oh, okay. Yeah, he deserves that. You deserve that, ByuN. I get so... His Reapers, they think they're immortal. No, that's a Protoss unit. You can't just dodge shots. You can outrun them, but in almost every case, you cannot dodge them. So, Astrea not panicking, just kind of going about his build. He has quite a worker lead now. But ByuN is going for a very aggressive, a very multi-pronged technical opener. I don't know about multi-pronged. But Widowmine, Medivac, he's got the horse car there. It's the thing. I think it's fun. That's what matters, right? At the end of the day, that's why we're here. Fun. No, this is the most serious competitive esport. If you're not at risk of breaking your wrists from just watching, then is it a real esport? Well, the Phoenixes doing their beautiful interpretive dance. I'm pretty sure ByuN caught a glimpse of them. Oh god, is he gonna try to bait the Phoenixes into the... Yeah. I think he noticed. Somehow Astrea, like, there was just a split-second glimpse. Oh, is he... Oh, come on! Ah! Oh, no. Stop that. You stop that. He's hiding the indent of the Widowmines with the Hellion. Just acting like it's some sort of scouting Hellion. Will it work? Maybe. It's pretty... That is some pretty disgusting Terran. Astrea is looking for a Widowmine drop. Little does he know, it already happened. Yeah, he has not spotted the Hellion. He has not fallen for the trap yet. He makes his way around, scouring. Oh no. Are they just gonna fly over it? Oh. Oh! Directly to the forehead. Double shot. Knocks out the Phoenixes. Uses a bunch of the energy remaining. But there's a whole bunch of charge lots here. They could file through this kind of natural choke point. I think that's enough Marines. He doesn't have stim, but... Yeah, Astrea I think a bit shell-shocked from that Widowmine hit. The patience on those mines. He knew eventually something would come over. But Astrea had 53 probes, just now adding on a forge. Been quite slow on the forges so far. Stim, combat shield. +1, so a long way off. Revelation reveals this army moving out. Stim and combat shield, a big part of this. Raven has a lot of energy. Anti-armor missile could be very helpful. Just some auto turrets to tank. Wouldn't be terrible either. Scan? Well, he sees part of the army. He has to know that's not all of it, but ByuN just goes straight up the center. He realizes the weakest point is actually Astrea's natural. The secondary flank is coming in, but Astrea goes for the throat, and right now, the auto turrets tank so many of the charges. He slips into the mineral line. The Marines standing behind the Marauders. The Zealots not able to get the surface area. It's already critical damage. I think he's got him. And just like that, ByuN guts Astrea like a particularly unprepared fish. Yeah, it might not end here. But 21 probes, and there's more where that came from. Mines, Marines, Marauders, and medivacs. The M&M and M&M is coming together. Concussive shells make those charge lots. Wish they hadn't run so fast forward. He's gonna pick up some of the mines. He's gonna pick up all the mines. So he can't shoot him because he's picking him up with all of his. Okay, he found an extra Phoenix, but +1 infantry weapons is done. Astrea's economy is not there. He has 6 gateways, which is not going to be able to compete. There's just not the comeback potential in Astrea's unit composition. Phoenixes are good, but it is a long-term process with Phoenixes. It isn't surprise I killed 15 workers. It's no Widowmine. So it's a bit of a math problem right now.
The numbers don't lie, and they spell disaster for you.
Some reinforcements cut off. Charge lots. Widowmine burrows, though. Force field, not even really helping. Here come the Phoenixes. Maybe tries to draw the mines into the army. ByuN burrows to avoid exactly that. And underneath, there's just too much army supply. It's ByuN unstoppable. It looks like ByuN strikes back in game 2. Beautifully done. A clean execution. Nothing even really went wrong. The Widowmine hits on the Phoenixes were nice, but this was just a solid game from ByuN. A clean timing attack, and he ends up coming out ahead. I think the charge lot follow-up to Star Charge, or Phoenixes in the charge lots, it's better the worse your opponent is. But the more experienced your opponent is at microing those M-flavored units, the worse it gets. And ByuN is the best at it. There is no. I don't think Maru's better. I don't think Clem is better. They both have their strengths. I think Clem is pretty insane with multitasking. Maru just has impeccable builds and preparation for matches. But when it comes to sheer micro, there is no match for ByuN. He is the best. I'm literally talking about individual Marines, Marauders, medivacs, and getting every last mineral's worth out of them. I'll take this time on Moondance with nobody proxying, with no crazy aggression to start, to remind you once again, if you're enjoying the cast, thank you for tuning in. make sure to smash that like button. And who do you want to see ByuN against now? Like I've said, I could cast one ByuN series every day. New channel, ByuN TV. And he plays so much that we'd still be missing well over half of his professional series. In December, he played something like 65 pro series against ranked opponents. Like Astrea, like Reynor, like Serral. So, I just try to give you guys the highlights, which is most of them. But thank you for watching. And I do want to just add on to that. It's game 3. You made it this far. Just watching this far is a huge deal. It's not even just about smashing the like button. That's fine. But the most important thing for YouTube is keeping people on YouTube because they want to sell you ads like I'm advertising right now. So just sticking around and watching the match because you enjoy it, that's the best support you can do. Even, honestly, I think even more than liking and subscribing, unless that helps you remember to watch. So, but that is, in my experience, the most important thing, is just watching as much as you can. Alright, Astrea, thank you for interrupting me. It was getting a little sad. And now I'm confused. All right. He's Sure, yeah. We're just gonna... That's a perfectly fine place for a gateway. This is a Wings of Liberty build. They'll proxy a pylon. Well, you didn't even need to have the gateway. Just proxy a pylon. But ByuN has no idea. He is not ready for this. Like, and by not ready for this, I mean any amount of units. The Reaper's looking around. It looks like a Blink build. He's adding on a tank. Yeah, it looks like a Blink build when you see the Stalkers. And no Adept coming across. Well, the probe comes in. The probe, we saw it on the minimap. The probe snuck in a moment before. I don't believe the SCV was on the right side to actually see the probe. Otherwise, he'd be incredibly suspicious. Yeah, there's no way ByuN knows. They do not have... No, obviously not. Oh, God. Well... Hello! Good morning! Well, there's a tank, though, so... Actually, the thing is the defense against Blink Stalker is very similar to the defense against non-Blink Stalker. It's just usually the not... Well, this didn't... Yeah. So the problem here, I think a proxy Stargate may have been better. Yeah, that's not great. Oh, he's repairing the tank. Oh, God, no, that's a disaster. Well, yeah, ByuN was preparing for Blink. But, I mean, the tank is perfectly good against just stock Stalkers there. So, this is crazy. Alright, well. That was a ladder build. That was... Oh, I was excited for this to work out, but instead, ByuN just kind of backhands him right there. Like, excuse me? Do you know who I am? You're gonna try to pull this on me? Well, here come a couple unsieged tanks, which can easily beat those Stalkers. Alright. They do have better single target DPS than they do splash. It's just, range. Splash. Microing back. GG. Yeah. Well. Yeah, that wasn't it. That was... Moving on. Game... match point for ByuN. In less than the time it took to conclude game 1, ByuN takes 2 back. Astrea did kind of hand him that one. I mean, ByuN's micro was on point. He figured it out immediately. He reacted with no delay. But also, in hindsight, I'm not sure what Astrea expected to accomplish. Well, maybe he was hoping ByuN went 3cc. Because a lot of players will go 3cc on Moondance. It is your super defensive map. If he had gone 3cc and had, like, Widow Mines or something. Okay, maybe. Well. And just like that, game 4. Inside and out. Double gas yet again. I mean, it's working for ByuN. If it ain't broke. The double gas. This is a very glass cannon opener. It is very similar to TVT, where you rely on heavy tech early in order to maintain some map control. The problem is all your units kind of die to Protoss units. Reapers, Hellions, Marines. But they also have much more micro potential. Reapers can obviously outmaneuver a lot of things. Hellions can outdrive them. Medivacs, Ravens, Widow Mines have their own strengths as well. So you're relying on just very active unit control in order to maintain a good position. And this is another one of those like lightsaber builds where if you're good with it, you're a lot less likely to lop your own arm off. But if you're not good with it, it probably won't help. Not this time, sir. Probe sneaking in. Well, he actually found the timing when ByuN was... And his Reaper had already gone out. And speaking of, Reaper not getting too greedy this game. He should be able to get out, though he's already used the grenade. Oh my god! No, don't you go back in there. Where are you going? He's... I did say, it relies on being very active and outmaneuvering your opponent. And then I proceed to be surprised and impressed when he's very active and outmaneuvers his opponent. It's good I can still surprise myself. It makes things more exciting. Well... No. Somebody, like... Hello? Somebody come get these Reapers. No, you're not so... He's in here just killing probes. What are you doing? He's killed 4 probes. 5 probes. This is ridiculous. 7 probes. I guess maybe 1, including the Hellion. No, okay. Everything dies. He scouts the Stargate. He got 7 probes for 2 Reapers and a Hellion. Despite multiple Adepts out. No. No. Don't try this at home. Let me make it very... Stick to your 2 medevac stim marine builds, Diamond players. Just... That's about the limit. I feel like if I tried that, I'd lose the first Reaper. 2 Adepts would come across, kill 4 SCVs. I'd get supply blocked, and then the Oracle would come in before my Widow Mine finished. And I'd lose another 10 SCV. That's how it would go for us normies. More racks on the way. Astrea, he did have 2 Nexi in a time we met. He's going Star Charge. Yet again, Phoenix Charge Lock. And while that was a lot of damage early, it wasn't critical. It wasn't something that was going to stop him from going about the rest of his build. It was going to slow him down. Obviously, it slows him down. But it isn't going to put a stop to it. And I think, well, I think something that was lacking, the positioning was a lot of the issue on Waterfall. His army just was in the wrong spot at the very wrong time. And ByuN, you can't afford that against ByuN. I love what ByuN does. He sets up a non-wall. Because if there's a hard wall, units will just attack the wall, charge lots. But if there's no wall, I say, and then he just walls it off. But if there's no wall, then units will funnel. And for some reason, the basic Protoss unit is a melee warrior as opposed to a ranged anything. So it actually works out very well for the Terrans. Double Cyclone. A good basic counter to low amounts of Stargate units. Knocks down a Phoenix with the double lock. Here come a whole bunch of charge lots from Astrea. Setting himself up to counterattack. I don't think he's going to go up the ramp. But if ByuN is caught out, he could easily get sliced to pieces and his medivacs knocked out of the sky by the Phoenixes. Combat shield, stim. +1 is not too far off. This is your typical attack timing. Revelation has tagged all the units. Does he care? I don't think so. It's pretty clear what ByuN wants to do. It's his strategy in about 80% of games, which is move out with medivacs, marines, marauders, and whatever else he can put on the field, and get as much damage done as possible. The charge lot slipping in, ByuN. Astrea is buying time. Right now, during this, Astrea is buying time for his robo. He's buying time. He knows he has a better economy to some extent because he's mining from that third. It's not huge, but it's something. His +1 isn't done either. So, overall, those Widow Mine's not burrowed. Nice pickoffs there from Astrea. He needs them. I'm not sure what that was. It looked like something important. Loses the Oracle here in the slide by in the air. Knocked down by the Marine. A stressful situation as Astrea has not built any more probes. He's sitting at 51 for quite a bit now. Continues warping and charge lots. He's only on, I believe, those 7 gates. So he's really focused on production. He's starting to add some more probes in now once he has the economy or the unit count. You can see on the minimap that Astrea just keeps sliding around, looking for an opportunity with the charge lots. He's not going to make the mistake of fighting into that choke point again. I'm kind of surprised ByuN is taking down these rocks for the same reason. Oh, well, I guess the opposite reason is ByuN wants a choke point against the army. At least until things like Colossi and Disruptors hit the field. But those are next on the agenda with the robotics bay completed. Sieges up the Observer. Does that notify ByuN of its presence? And option 2, does he care? The charge lots. Astrea setting up a massive surround. Oh my god, he's got 42 charge lots, but is that the answer to everything? Oh my, he picks them all up! He lifts the entire spread! Oh, the charcuterie board is in the air. He drops the mines back down. They actually run out there because he used everything, but he picks up. Charge lots can't fly. Phoenixes can, but they're laid on the drop, and he drops behind the mineral line where the charge lots really can't get the surface area. Immediately forces the cancel from Astrea. ByuN still hasn't taken a third behind this. He still has a very limited economy. The Observer spots the pickup, and Astrea is closing in. He's hunting the army. Astrea should be able to target down some of the medivacs, or at least start picking them off, and the charge lots are whittling down the army, but reinforcements have arrived. ByuN. The bio ball is... Oh, watch out! That's a chunk smaller! And the stems again. I was about to say the bio ball is getting to such a size. It can roll through anything, but the boys are pulled! And the Widow Mines are picked up. ByuN is all in right now, but the stems are really hurting. Astrea, the Widowmines are gonna connect. Disruptor shot hits the medivacs, and somehow ByuN turns what looked like a pretty decisive Protoss victory into a Pyrrhic one at best. But he lost most of his SCVs, and that's gonna give Astrea some extra confidence. Oh, almost loses that last Phoenix. ByuN just taps it out. Okay. It still wasn't enough. It was, at the end of the day, ByuN was unable to pin down Astrea. Such a mobile unit composition. I'm kind of surprised he pulled the boys. I think he overestimated. I was trying to figure out which direction, but overestimated Astrea's economy, because Astrea cut so much of his economy to get those zealots. But once you lose the critical mass of bio against such a attrition-based army, it's gonna be tough. But on the bright side, that brings us to Game 5. And what a Game 5 final match map. Stargazers. We've had some of our most dramatic matches on this map. It is a bit of a different layout with that back base. That does require a little mining. The gold base in the center, if we split things, and both players expanding further away from each other. So if you happen to be a Terran who enjoys medivacs or a Protoss who enjoys Stargate, this map does give you some interesting possibility. I'm not sure you could find either of those two types of players, but if you know, if you know any, let me know. Straight up, cursory glance around the edges of the base, looking for barracks. You never know where they're hiding. This time, ByuN cleverly hiding his barracks in his main. I'm having a lot of fun this series. I hope you guys are enjoying. It's a very stressful exchange. Ever since that first game, it's kind of fallen on either side of the knife. We'll see if Game 5 brings us back to a more even match. No calls. Hold my calls, Jimmy. The only calls I want to make are in game. Second Nexus, chrono boosting probes. Still no warp gate, which almost certainly indicates Stargate. Probe just gets in. Stargate. Indeed. Not today. Sit down, Mr. Reaper. That's, I was kind of holding my breath for that one. ByuN's Reapers, honestly, after the start last game, I thought ByuN might be able to carry that momentum. But Astrea, I think this is a super key part of, especially non-Korean players, but something that's really helped Astrea, particularly, is not getting tilted, is not getting intimidated. I don't know what that Moon Dance game was. I think he was maybe trying to just pull one over, but otherwise, Astrea has taken hits, but he hasn't gotten tilted. He hasn't started just throwing units away. In fact, a lot of the largest mistakes, or I guess arguable mistakes, were on Data C when he overextended and lost a huge chunk of his army several times, and despite having overall an advantageous position. So Astrea has kept it together, and he's brought ByuN the distance, and now he just, well, it's anyone's game. ByuN, as you know, does as ByuN do, as the old proverb goes. I don't think tilt is something that really factors in. Star Charge again. Three more gates on the way to charge. And this is, I mean, third Nexus at 4:30 is still quite early. But he's prioritizing gateway production over a... Okay, alright, put the words together. Come on. He's prioritizing gateway production over a super greedy economy, which is gonna pay off. And in one, keeping him alive, and two, maybe being able to counterattack if ByuN commits too far. But ByuN, knowing his limits, comes most of the way across the map and backs off just before charge is finishing. Now, how much did he actually see? He only saw the Stargate, but this is not the first game Astrea has gone for the Stargate into charge option. So I'm sure ByuN is factoring that in. He pulls back, and he kind of artificially limited Astrea's economy there. Probes are back in production. Charge is done. Stim, combat shield. Well, Stim is about to complete. Combat shield and +1 infantry weapons are still a long way off. Oh. Cyclones breaks the lock, backs off. Forge finishes. Yeah, he's been really... Oh, he's adding in the +1 armor. Never mind. He cancels it for +1 weapons. Just in case there was a debate about which upgrade is better for the charge lots. Astrea, we see there intentionally canceling and going for the ground weapons. Even though it's very likely almost all his ground units will be charge lots. At some point, like, you can't let ByuN's medivacs get to work. You can add more charge lots. That's like having armor in and of itself. But if you're not able to kill those Marines and Marauders in a timely manner, the damage they pump out is very difficult to contend with. There was a time, I think, where +1 armor was preferable, but I think Terrans have just gotten too good at maneuvering and countering those charge lots that you really need to have some damage of your own. Kind of surprised it's not a double forge build even. Ooh, well, the Phoenix count has kind of casually grown to the highest we've seen. The Octo Phoenix play is here. Oh, Astrea missing an opportunity for a Widow Mine, but I think he noticed it, Burrow. He's camping the production. Oh, what are we doing? What? He pulls the boys, but the boys right off the work site here at the natural force field. The boys are chasing. What is going on? What is this? ByuN is sprinting across the map as Astrea is fighting with SCVs. His economy is being slaughtered at the same time as well. The Marines are stemming into the mineral line. Some vengeance on the probe. +1 ground weapons finishes just in time. There's just... Well, there's 3 medivacs here. Here come the Phoenixes. And a lot of Marines, and those minerals create a natural choke point here. He's sitting in the corner. Target fire. 1, 2, 3, 4 Phoenixes down. 5. Will he pick up? At some point, he's going to pick up. He does. He gets out of there. He picks up as many Marines as he can. Some more charge lots warped in. The positioning is incredible on those Marines as they drop, but Astrea should be able to clean this up. Oh, an economic obliteration for both sides. ByuN is down to 25 SCVs, Astrea down to 42 probes. With mules factored in, marginal advantage for Astrea. And charge lots don't end the game. He can't get the charge lots into the base, especially when ByuN's over here playing Minecraft. Is there even... Does he have an armory? He does not have an armory. But none of the units that Astrea has can easily close the distance. The amount of mines. Oh, he's slowing it down. He's buying time. Is time on ByuN's side? Astrea's rebuilding probes. He's confident that he can keep ByuN from moving out. So he's using that, he's leveraging that to get a better economy. Those Phoenixes, he's rebuilding. They've been the key in this game so far. The charge lock count is so damn high. Opting, instead of the mass spellcaster style that we've seen Astrea prefer against Zerg, instead the brute force of several dozen chargy boys. No. Whoa. Phoenix is picked up. What? Deja vu. We've just been in this place before, stimming to the side while the Phoenixes are waiting. Okay, you know, I really should have thought out the rest of that sentence. But Astrea did not really think out dealing with all these Widow Mines. The Widow Mines splashing across the bow. The charge lots charging as they do. Marines still a whole lot of damage. Those probes, there's nowhere to run. The Nexus dying actually opens up an opportunity. Even the probes getting involved here. The charge lots closing in. The assimilators blocking. The medivacs, only one left. The probes just trying to draw some fire. The charge lots guardian shield helping out a lot. What a fight! At what cost? Oh, ByuN? Oh, he walled in his reinforcements. Did he want to come across? 22 probes to Astrea's down to 29. That's actually, ByuN has the economic advantage now. With any amount of mules, we should see this tick up. It's near zero disparity. 66 to 69 supply. Not particularly nice for either side. Astrea noticed the Widow Mine line. The Widow Mines have been the real MVPs in softening up the army. Without them, I don't know if ByuN had any real chance of fighting these. Astrea's on 4 bases. He's been mass expanding. Well, he's on 3 bases, I guess, because ByuN did very much kill his natural. But Sentry getting chased down. Phoenixes knocking out at least one of the medivacs, looking for more. He keeps rebuilding the Phoenixes. Astrea, the only medivac picks up. Will he realize? If he intercepts... We are a handful of supply away from this game going either way. The units lost. Astrea's lost a 1,000 or so. About 1,800 more minerals. A few hundred less gas. But of course, he's mined slightly more. He's got better upgrades. Storm is on the way. The Marines have dropped down to the south side. Phoenix is still looking for an opportunity. The probes are vulnerable. He can't afford to lose any. It's not a super pylon. A recall for a single medevac. And the rest of the army and all of the boys. Everyone. The observer spots this. It's all on the line. We can't do it again. There's no way they trade again. It has to end here. Storm is on the way. He needs it desperately. There's no ghosts. There's no liberators. Widow Mines are not a real counter to Templar. +2 armor is on the way. 12 seconds on Psionic Storm. How many Templar does Astrea have? 3 of them. The Templar are spotted. The storms are everything. If ByuN is able to weather them. Oh, big storm to start. Huge storm to follow. And right now, the Category 5 storms have obliterated the majority of ByuN's army. He's forced to pick up, and he barely gets out in a bruised lifeboat of a medevac. 16 SCVs remain. But the army supply, I don't know how he does it, but it's in favor of ByuN. But the Templar are putting an even more pressing clock on things. There is no long-term counter. +2 armor completes, giving Astrea an upgrade advantage. The American Protoss. It's his game to lose now. He's brought ByuN to the brink. The Templar count is so damn high. I don't know. Wading through all these storms, but ByuN, he's successfully drawn the army away. And that means a lot more probes are gonna die. ByuN's still keeping Astrea busy. ByuN sacrificed so many SCVs. He was not expecting. The storm was a huge reach, but he managed to get it. It was very close to being too late. But you know what they call close to too late? On time. The chrono boost, keeping it intact. ByuN picks up, and he goes to the main. Oh my god, the Nexus itself. He micros back. He unloads. The Phoenixes are vulnerable. The charge lots can only fight one at a time. He picks up... God, oh my god, he's so... The medevac micro is ridiculous. Oh no, that could... Oh, the devastating storms knocks out most of the supply. The rest in no HP medevacs. That takes it from barely holding on to slipping away. ByuN, in Game 5, is forced to micro his medevac's hearts out. But the storms... He's lifted his main, so that way his 18 SCVs can mine from his third. Which, I guess, still the army supplies, if there was just one or two ghosts, but they're not free. Well, he has to pick up. Feedback might not kill the medevac, but the storm sure will. How does ByuN still have any army supply? He's building mines. Does he have an armory? He does not, which means mines fire and then are revealed. Medevac gonna go down the stem. Almost gets a Phoenix, but the fact Astrea's been able to reclaim map control, I think it's too much. The Templar were the call. The first time we've seen Storm this entire series. But the charge lots are closing and the Widow Mine's softening them up. But the only mining base is cut off. The storms are devastating. And there's no way ByuN can get through them. There's just nothing left. GG! Astrea! Astrea takes it 3-2 in one of the most intense and dramatic, especially the bookend games. A beautiful series. Jimmy, I'm blinded by its intensity, but I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed this as well. Very likely another ByuN special, but I hope I made your day a little bit better. Thank you to TakeTV and Homestory Cup. Thank you for watching. Good luck, have fun. I'll see you next time. Stay tuned.